Hi, my name is Burton, and this is the ultimate getting started guide. So if you don't know where to begin with PropStream, you're watching the right video. In just a few moments, I'm going to be going over some key features that I think you should know about as you're using PropStream. So what are we waiting for? Let's get started. The first area I'd like to talk about is our PropStream updates pop-up. Now this pop-up is important because it usually will inform you about new features, new data sets, as well as new courses. We have this thing called PropStream Academy, which is free, and it houses a bunch of online courses that you can take. And so anytime our Academy team releases a new course, we'll make sure to announce that here. Giveaways and charity. One of the things that we're known for, other than our data, is we do lots of giveaways and we do lots of charities. And so anytime we do one or the other, sometimes both, you'll see the detailed instructions so that you can participate in them. And finally, live events in our webinar schedule. These are just a few things that you'll see in our PropStream updates pop-up menu. So make sure to check it out, and then when you're done, you can hit the close button located at the very bottom. Doing so will send you to the map. Now, before we talk about the map and all the cool stuff you can do with it, I'd like to redirect your attention to the toolbar, which is located on the left-hand side. As a matter of fact, if you take your mouse and head over there, it'll expand, and then you can see all the available options. Now, where I'd like to begin is the search icon. Two of the most powerful things, in my opinion, in PropStream. The first one being to search any market in the US. Use our filter menu, which has over 20 different categories to select from and 160 filters, and generate a list. Or to search any address in the US and get property info, run comps, see mortgage info, as well as ownership info. You know what? How about we start there? Let me pull up a property so you can see what happens when you do that. Head to the search bar, type in your property, and go ahead and select that recommendation that you see in the drop-down menu. Now, when you pull up a property, we're not going to send you into the details right away. The first thing we're going to do is just give you local information. So we'll take the city that that property's in and show you things like how many properties have been listed, how many cash transactions have occurred. On the right-hand side, you'll see the subject property and just a brief description of that property. We also mark the subject property green on the map. As for all the red tags that you see, those are the nearby listings here at the bottom right, starting with the neighboring records. But feel free to change it to MLS records, pre-foreclosure records, or even foreclosure records. Below the map, you have the statistics tab. And if you click this up arrow here, it'll expand and show you some really cool information, like price and rent changes over the last 30 days. Or because we have MLS data, you could see things like the average days on market based on how many bedrooms a property has. Or average monthly rent, which is also based on how many bedrooms a property has. And if you like this, you can print it out. There's a print button that will give you a PDF file. And let's not forget, we are also using Google Maps, which means you can zoom in, rotate the map, go from map to satellite view, or use one of my favorite features, and that's Street View. Man, would you look at that nice green grass. Okay, so this is just what happens when you first pull up an address. Now, if you're looking to get into the details of that property, I suggest you do one of two things. Either click on the address here on the right side, or click on details. Doing so will pull up our property card. Every single property in PropStream has a property card. So let's go over what you're going to see inside the property card. At the top left is the address. At the top right are some really cool tools, starting with our rehab calculator and our ADU calculator. The rehab calculator gives you local level costs on things like repainting the house, redesigning the kitchen, doing a bathroom remodel. So if you're doing any of that stuff and you want to get local level costs, that rehab calculator is definitely suited for you. Now, the ADU calculator is the accessory dwelling unit calculator. And that's designed to calculate the costs on, for example, converting that garage that you see here into something that could be rented out. The next feature to the right of that is the tags and status. This will allow you to leave notes on the property, tags, so that you can revisit those notes and tags the next time you pull up this property. To the right of that is the print button. So if you want to print all of this information out, just hit that button and we're going to give you a comparative market analysis report that you can send to your team, your sellers, or even your buyers. The analysis button will give you an analysis wizard that will let you punch in your variables, your calculations, to determine if this asset is going to be a great return on your investment or not. And then the save button. Now there's no real reason to save the property if you're just looking at property info. The reason to ever save a property will be to export the property info, get contact information. We do have skip tracing within PropStream. We're going to talk about that in a few moments. Marketing, we also have that. So if you want to send a postcard or an email, that would be another reason to save a property. And let's not forget purchasing documents. You can purchase the deed, mortgage, or even the pre-foreclosure document if a property is going through that, but you will need to save the property. So those are just a few reasons as to why you would ever want to save a property. If you're not doing that, there's really no need to save the property. Now, below all of that is our dashboard, starting with the property details card. Now, we're going to always start you with the photos. And the cool thing about PropStream is if we have any MLS photos, we're going to prioritize that. So you can click on those and check out those photos that were uploaded. If you still want to see satellite view, there is that option here at the bottom right, map view. Selecting that option, you'll see the satellite image rather than the MLS photos. Now below the photo, you'll see a brief description of the property once again. And to the right of that, a quick summary of the owner and the property, such as the owner type, owner status, length of ownership. The next card is our value card. This area is powered by AI and machine learning, and it's going to give you some cool stuff like the estimated value, last year's estimated value, and how that value has trended over a period of 5 years. The next card over is our mortgage and debt summary card. We're very aggressive at collecting mortgage data, so you can see how many mortgages are on a property and the collective total balances on those mortgages, as well as any involuntary liens like HOA liens, tax liens, utility liens, and the collective total of those liens. We'll also show you the last time this property sold and when it was recorded at the county office, as well as any MLS transactions that we see on the property. And feel free to purchase the last document. That's also an available option here. The last card you're going to see is our opportunity card, and that's going to show you things like the equity on the property that we've calculated, how many other properties the owner has, the wholesale price that we're calculating for you, which is pretty much the estimated value minus 30%, if you're wondering, the monthly rent, gross yield, and comps at a glance. And below that, our new feature called PropStream Intelligence. So we do have machine learning and AI, as I mentioned a few moments ago. And another thing that we're telling it to do is to analyze these MLS photos on your behalf. And once it analyzes them, we're asking PropStream Intelligence to grade those property conditions. And as you can see, this property condition area not only gives you the total condition of a property, but it also breaks down 4 different areas: the exterior, the interior, the kitchen, as well as the average. We're also telling PropStream Intelligence to analyze our mortgage data and pre-foreclosure data to identify indicators and see if this property, or any property that you pull up for that matter, has any similarities with those pre-foreclosure records. And if so, what's the probability of this property heading in that direction? That's our foreclosure factor. Now, if you still want more information, you can scroll down, and starting with property details, we can give you things like the owner's names, mailing addresses, more property characteristics, land and location information, who the HOA is, the legal description, and more. Now, what's also very important is PropStream is very aggressive with collecting what we call situational data. like pre-foreclosure data, lien data, cash transactions, divorce data, bankruptcy data, and even MLS data. So that way we can give it to you all at once. In this case, I can see that this owner has a lien and at one point was on the MLS. Now, if you're still interested in the property after going through the property details and the situational data, then the next area is our comparables and nearby listings. What I love about this area is it gives you not just comparables, but other nearby listings that are very powerful, like flip comps. These are any investors in the area that are flipping properties within a 2-year time frame. And feel free to change that if you need to. We do have some filters for you. Neighboring records in case you're in a gated community, or cash transactions. Perhaps you might be dealing with dilapidated property that only a cash buyer would be interested in. And we also have other records like pre-foreclosure records, bank-owned records, and so forth. But I will say comps is by far our favorite option because this one gives you not only public records that you can run comps with, but MLS records as well. So if you're looking for rental comps, or perhaps you're in a non-disclosure state like Texas, Utah, Kansas, you can use our nationwide MLS data to run comps on properties. We even have filters for you to utilize. And don't forget, the action button over here allows you to generate a report. So select the data set, apply the filters that you need, and then generate your report. Now, following the comparables and nearby listings is our intelligence tab. This will break down more information about the property's condition and that foreclosure factor score. To the right of that is the demographics tab. Now, what's really cool about this is it's within a 1-mile radius of every subject property that you're going to search. So no two demographics are the same. In this case, you're going to get some very powerful information like how many owners versus renters in the area, average income, education level, and much more. To the right of that is the tax information, which is pretty self-explanatory. But to help you out a little bit, we did take that tax address, reverse engineered it, so that we can show you how many other properties have been assigned to that tax address as well. This is what we call linked properties. Next would be our mortgage and transaction history. This is going to show you all the mortgages that we've been able to identify, who the lenders are, interest rates, loan types, loan terms. And the transaction and mortgage history down below. And last but certainly not least is our documents and reports tab. This area allows you to pull any analysis reports that you did using our analysis wizard at the top, as well as purchase any premium documents like the assessor's map, or again, the deed, the pre-foreclosure or mortgage document on a property. This is our property card. So have fun searching properties and analyzing them through PropStream. Now, let's talk about lead generation. That's the other part of our search engine. And in order to do that, you're gonna need to pull up a market. Now, in case you're not familiar, or perhaps you're venturing into a market that you're new to, I would recommend using our heat map, which is located at the top right. That heat map's really powerful because it shows you things like estimated values, MLS stats, price growth, and rental values. Now, each one of these options has subcategories. So, for example, estimated value lets you see things like the estimated value, or perhaps the estimated value per square footage, or maybe you'd like to see listing prices instead, using our MLS data, or perhaps price growth over the last year. And finally, rental values. So if you wanted to see rental prices, you also have that option. Now, depending on the category that you select, the color legend will change, and so the values and colors will reflect based on the option that you've selected. So you can do things like show me how this area has grown over a period of a year, and then apply your county, your city, your zip code, or We do also have a draw search feature that allows you to zoom in and through several left clicks, create your own shaded area or your own market to pull up leads. But the point is, we have some tools to help you identify hot markets, make sure to utilize them, and then perform your search, or vice versa, perform your search and then use that heat map, okay? So let's do a quick search here. All right. So when you pull up a market, the first thing that I would highly recommend is when you're generating leads to go into our filter menu. And the reason for that is because, again, we have over 160 options for you to play with, 160 filters, excuse me, for you to play with. We also have 20 different lead list options to choose from. And that's actually where we start you with, the lead list section. So here on the left side, you're going to see all the different categories, starting with lead lists. This area allows you to start with an actual category. I like to think of this as like going to the county directly and grabbing a list from them. So if you wanted to search a city and look at all the tax delinquent properties, you can. Now, once you pick a lead list, you can start working your way down our filter menus. So the next category in this case would be our property details category. And the cool thing about PropStream is we're more than residential. So you can select residential and tell us exactly the type of residential property type you'd like, or multifamily property type that you'd like, or perhaps it's a commercial building that you want instead. Maybe vacant land, or any of the following other options that you see here. So make sure you specify exactly what it is that you're looking for. And if you scroll down a little bit more, you'll see other options like beds, bathrooms, the year built, numbers of stories, whether it's in an HOA, and so forth. So property details follows our lead list. And then after that is our PropStream Intelligence filters. So we talked about PropStream Intelligence analyzing those photos on your behalf and that foreclosure factor. So if you want to search by that, this is the area which you can do that. Following that would be our MLS status section, or our MLS filter section, I should say. This will allow you to do things like look for properties on or off market, or look for a certain listing type or status type. There's also filters like days on market, listing amounts, or even a keyword search. If there's something within the description that you're looking for, feel free to take advantage of that. Following our MLS filters is our pre-foreclosure bank-owned filters. This will allow you to look for pre-foreclosures or even exclude them. If you are looking for foreclosures and pre-foreclosures, you can hit include and it'll give you the options that you can select from. If you're not looking for these options, you're looking to actually avoid them, the exclude button will allow you to get rid of those records from your list. Owner information and occupancy will allow you to look for owner-occupied properties or non-owner occupied properties, otherwise known as absentee owners. Vacant means whether they're answering their mail or not, so if you want that, you can decide so. Years of ownership, owner type, location of the owner, and even the numbers of properties owned are just a few important features I like to highlight in this section. So don't forget these options. Lien, bankruptcy, and divorce. Again, these are some filters that we have. And so if you want, for example, a specific type of lien, you can include that in your search and specify that lien. Or if you're not into liens, you can exclude liens, you can exclude bankruptcies, you can exclude divorce records as well. The next sections are value and equity. This allows you to search for estimated values, rental values, or even an equity amount, which is by far one of our most popular filters in this section here. And last, but certainly not least, our mortgage section. This will allow you to search for a certain number of mortgages on a property, or even a loan type. So if you specialize in, let's say, FHA and VA loans, you can look for those types of properties within PropStream. So this is how our filter menu works. And again, you can do this anywhere throughout the nation. Now, I know you're gonna do this quite often, so I do recommend that once you perform your search, before you start viewing your properties, consider hitting the save button, naming your search, adding details, but most importantly, establishing those email notifications so that we can tell you when another lead that fits your criteria appears, rather than you searching every single day, okay? So don't forget to hit that save button, save your search, and then we'll house them here in that save search drop-down menu just to the right of that. It's also going to be housed on the main page here under all searches. So 2 areas in which you can pull up a save search. So again, search your market, go into our filter menu, apply your filters. Don't forget to save it and set up those email notifications, and then hit view to see your results. Now, when you get your results, the objective is to save the lists, I assume. So make sure you check off your results here on the right side. There is a box next to each number. I like to highlight them all. And then I hit add to list. And doing so allows me to either add it to a list I already have, or in this case, create a new list. And that's our search menu. So again, just a quick recap, the search page is designed for you to search any market in the US, use our filter menu here at the top, apply those filters, and build that distressed homeowner list or even a buyer's list. Or you can use our search page to type in an address or click on a parcel and analyze a property, which means get property info, mortgage info, run comps, see how many other properties the owner has, and much more, okay? Now, if you save that property or save that list like I just did, the next area that you should know about is our My Properties icon. And if you click on that, the whole page will change. Now, don't let it confuse you. Let me break it up for you really quick. On the left-hand side is really the main focus, starting with the favorites section. In that area, it's going to house 2 things that you should know about. One is the All Saves folder. So anytime you save a property or build a list, we're going to just put a copy of that in the All Saves property folder. So again, this is a collective accumulation of everything that you're doing. Below that is your My Properties folder. And these are all the individual properties that you're saving. And that's the key word there, individual properties that you're saving. So if you search an address and save that one address, that's going to be housed in the My Properties folder that you see here. Now, below the favorites area is our marketing list section. And that's right. This is where we're going to house your marketing list that you're creating. So if you search a market, use our filter menu, create that list using whatever filters it is that you desire, and then you save that list, this is where we're going to house your results. Okay, so that list we built a few moments ago, here it is. Now, you may not see the third section, but the third section's our automated list section, and this is something that requires an add-on called List Automator. Now, what I like about this section is it allows you to take a marketing list and automate it. One of the things that you'll see when you have List Automator is this really cool button at the top. Anytime you create a list, you'll be able to select this option called Automated Lists, and this will allow you to let PropStream take care of your list for you. Meaning, we can run the search every single day on your behalf, and anytime a new record appears, we can either ignore it, add it to this list, add it to another list, or just notify you so that you can take care of it and do it yourself. So we can separate the new records, and then you can either ignore them, delete them, or move them around however you'd like. And not only can you choose any of these options when it comes to these new records that meet your criteria, but we could set up email notifications as well when that happens. So again, for those that get List Automator, it runs your search every single day, and when a property meets your criteria, it can do the automation and send you an email. Now, not only can it identify new records that meet your criteria and move them around on your behalf, it can also identify properties that change from your criteria as well. So every day, it will run that same search within your lists. And if any properties change from your criteria, we can either ignore those properties that no longer fit your criteria and keep them in your list, or remove them automatically, or perhaps move them into another list so you can follow up with them on a different date. Or again, we can at least just notify you so that way you can either leave them in your list, delete them from your list, or move them elsewhere. So this option is kind of like the opposite where instead of focusing on the new records, it pays attention to your actual lists. And anytime a property no longer fits your criteria, we can do the automation. So again, we can remove it, we can highlight it, but most importantly, not only can we do the automation to things no longer meeting your criteria, we can send you an email notification. So I love List Automator because again, it runs that search every single day on your behalf. And so if you do set up these rules, you'll be able to take your marketing list and move it into our automated list section. And then, as the days go by, you can click on a category like the one I have here, and it'll tell you how many new properties you should add to your list and how many you should probably take away because it no longer fits your criteria. And that's how this automated list section works. Again, you may not see it unless you have List Automator, so make sure you take advantage of that. The fourth and final section is our mobile section. So for those that don't know, PropStream does have a mobile app. It's designed to give you data on the go and do driving for dollars. But as you're saving properties while you're out there, we're gonna house those saved properties in this section here. We call them mobile favorites. So you'll be able to see all the properties that you've saved while you're out there on the field. Look at the property details, not only from this area, but you can also highlight those properties and either delete them or move them into your marketing lists, an automated list. So this is our My Properties area. Again, there's 4 different sections that you might see here. The 2 most important ones are the favorites and marketing lists. And so when you're saving a property or building a list, this is where we house them. And then another thing to note, once your list is here, there are some other things that you can do, such as export your list. So we do have an export button. So if you need your results on an Excel sheet, there's that export button here at the top. The action button lets you delete records, create mailing labels, view your results on a map. And on the far right side, you can actually customize your headers. This little gear button here allows you to add or remove any headers that you'd like. So if you want to, add loan data to your Excel sheet before you export it, this option here on the far right is where you can do that. And you can even save your layout. So that way, again, if you're doing vacant land and you want to see certain things, or maybe you're pulling a list of cash buyers and you want to see a certain thing, you can create different layouts so that you can export certain headers depending on your list. That's our My Property section. So again, think of this as your filing cabinet, but this is where you can also export your results once you start saving properties or generating leads. Now the next area below My Properties is the contacts area. I would say the 2 most important things about this area is 1, your contacts. Here at the top left is the groups area, and a lot of people don't know, but PropStream has an import feature. So you can actually import an outside list in PropStream so that we can skip trace it and run a campaign on it, meaning we can send postcards and emails to your imported list. So in the contacts page, there's the import button at the very top. Clicking that option will give you 3 simple steps so you can import that outside list. Doing so will allow you to create a group, and then that group can be skip traced to get contact information, or again, run a campaign. The next important thing you should know about our contacts page is the lower left-hand side, our skip tracing area. Obviously, we do have skip tracing with PropStream. So when you skip trace a marketing list or a property that you just saved, this is where we're gonna house your skip tracing results. So build your lists, place your skip trace order, and then head into the contacts page to look for your results. And yes, at no additional cost, we will scrub your lists against the do not call lists. And we get this question quite often. And so we will show you the phone numbers that are on the DNC. All right, the next area below contacts is our skip tracing. So if you click on that, this is a pop-up that will appear. And actually you can click on this option anywhere within PropStream. So if you're on the search page, you can click on that skip tracing icon and a pop-up will appear right then and there. You can click on the skip tracing icon and a pop-up will appear right then and there. And you can follow 3 steps to skip trace a list. Step 1, select contacts. There's a drop-down menu at the top. This allows you to select any lists that you've saved or any properties that you've saved. And so as you follow these 3 steps, you'll be able to place your skip trace order, and then again, head into the contacts page to see your results. The next icon below skip tracing is our campaign page. And so what's important about this area is that you can take a marketing list or property that you just saved and run a campaign on it. And so by selecting new campaign, I can name my campaign, target any list that I've saved or any property that I saved. And then once you save and start that campaign, and by the way, you can have as many as you like. As you can see here, I have 9 active campaigns, and because I do a lot of demonstrations, you can see I have a lot of inactive campaigns as well. But back to the point. So as you guys can see, I have 9 active campaigns, and the cool thing is each campaign gets a landing page, meaning a website. And so that website can be designed to speak to that audience. So if you have a senior owner marketing list, your website can talk to them about, downsizing or consolidating or helping them find their retirement home or their dream home, whatever it may be. So every active campaign you create will get one website. And then after you create that website, you'll have the option to send out postcards, which, by the way, we have templates that you can choose from. And if it isn't postcards that you want to send, we also have email marketing. That's another option for you. So feel free to take advantage of both of these marketing elements. Maybe you might do both and your screen will look like mine. So have fun with that. Below the campaign section is the help tab. So this option here will open up our help tab. And this will give you our video library, our email support information, so our Academy link. And then below that is our settings icon. And this will allow you to change your billing, username and password, add prepaid credits to your account for marketing or for the mobile app. We have a manage team section. So if your team is growing and you want to add a team member, this is where you can do that. Account activity, so if you want to see all your in-app purchases or your subscription purchases. Account activity, so if you want to see your subscription or any in-app purchases that you've been making, you can see that here. And then add-on services, so if you wanted to increase your downloads and exports, learn more about List Automator or start your trial on it, this is definitely the area for you. And then finally, the log out button. Oh, actually, there's one more thing. Our chat support at the very bottom. So if you want to chat with a live agent during our office hours, you can select this option and a live agent will be present. Again, must be during office hours, but that option is available. So once again, I hope this video helps guide you when you're first using PropStream. So if you want to dive more into certain topics like skip tracing, creating your campaign, or like best practices when building a list, then I would recommend, again, checking out our help videos or PropStream Academy. Thank you for watching. My name is Burton, and I hope to see you in our next video.